He is negative, so if I move him over here, because I'm adding and subtracting, he would become positive. So I'm going to write a positive 2x. This is positive 10, so I must write plus 10. I'm left with 5y, and to move him, I am dividing because it's multiplication. So we would only make sure that the sign changes when you're adding and subtracting. Okay? This is multiplication, and so I'm not adding or subtracting. And the opposite of multiplication, the inverse operation, is division. And I have to do it to everything on the other side. So y equals 2 over 5x plus 2. It would be quicker to just move him. The reason I know that is because if I want to get this variable on its side by itself and everything is already over here, it's easier to just move him out the way. He's negative there, which means he's going to be positive, leaving me with, he's gone, that leaves me with 2x plus 10. And you divide by everything that's on the y. Now we have a few questions to answer. Together, these two equations create, right here, together these two equations create. So if I put this equation and this equation together, what am I creating? I am creating what we call a system . This is equation number 1, graphed. Equation number 2, graphed, and they did not have anything in common as far as x and y. They never met up at the same place, so no solution. Here, however, they share at this point the same x and the same y. Here, it's the exact same equation, meaning it's infinite solutions. So then we answer the question, what methods can you use to find the solution? We have a few methods. We've talked about graphing it in the calculator. And when you graph it, you use menu 6-4. Okay? And if you're going to use the calculator screen, it's going to be menu 6 menu 3-2. So you should be writing down what those words stand for. The 6 stands for analyze the graph, and the 4 is going to say intersection. For this one, 3 says algebra, and 2 says solve the system. So if you forget the code, you should be able to read the words. You should be able to answer this, and I'm going to let you answer that last question and show your teachers after the video is over. Colin caught 24 trout and bass while fishing on a fishing trip. So this is X, this is Y, and when I put that together, that is X plus Y equals 24. Okay? And so now I'm going to set this second one up. The total weight of his catch was 137 pounds. That's the total. And the weight of the trout was 2.5 pounds. And then the weight of the bass was 8 pounds. How many solutions are there in this system? I don't know. Well, I have two equations, and they're both in standard form. Let's take a look. This is standard form. Yes, this is standard form. Did you know, no matter what your equations look like, if you go to the calculator and go to menu 3 says algebra, 2 says solve the system, and it says linear equations, all you have to do from this point is put in your equations after you press enter, because we have two equations. We're using X and Y. So we put in X plus Y equals 24, and then down below 2.5X plus 8Y equals 137, and we press enter. And it says that X is 10 and Y is 14. We know that X is trout, so this is trout. And this is the number of bass. So there were 10 trout and 14 bass. So the last question says, when will X and Y be the same for both equations? Well, that means if I take X and Y and I plug them in here, that also means that if it works for that one, it has to work for this one. So if I plug in 10 and then I plug in 14, I multiply this to 8, multiply that to 2.5, will it give me 137? Yes, it does. So when will the X and the Y be the same?